truly who you are. And nothing else. Not who you think you are, who the others think you are, who your parents thought you are.
Or who you think you need to be.
Or you think you need to be. None of those things. So you're not your parents, you're completely unique. Thank you. Yeah. It's good to close the door. Thank you. Thank you, Jnana.
Shakti and Kai were just coming in. And her and the child's outside.
I mentioned to someone in our little break then that they were asking me, that experience, was it this or was it that? The last experience, I said, what it is actually is Sutra 2. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodhana. So you weren't fighting in the mind to control the thoughts. That's not what it means. How's that going to happen? You were experiencing that constant flow. That's Nirodha. That's it. It's not hard. It doesn't actually take years of practice. A few years ago I did a Raja Yoga course that went on for a couple of years. And I gave the suggestion to use the heart practice and really get to know that heart space, to invite mental awareness to drop into the heart. You all know, you've done all that. And when mental awareness drops into the heart space and you feel that completion, that uniting, just to have a little phrase to reassure the mind. The yoga is the uniting of consciousness in the heart. And they began to do that practice and repeat to themselves, you were there. I might be going to tell your story if it's okay. With your family?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it was you now. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the story I'm about to tell is not about Harshani at all. But you remember that time, and you all had been practicing this heart completion and saying, yoga is the uniting of consciousness in the heart. And they all came back the next month and said, well, it's just happening by itself. There just seems to be a constant flow that is observing everything. It's very present, it's very involved. It's not like, it's not that one. Very present, just a flow, observing the vrittis, in fact, observing the activity of the mind and being present with what was going on around too, and interacting in a very natural way. After 1 month, these guys are geniuses. And one person told the story that, is it okay? I say it to you. So Harshani had been with her family, and she said, I loved this story. And she said that normally when our family gets together, the usual dynamic is that whoever isn't there is discussed, is talked about. Sometimes not in a very positive way. it was always a bit disturbing for you. So, yeah. And so she said, after this practice, she even not been looking forward to the dinner because of that. And but she was in this flow of Nirodha, just observing. And she didn't get involved in it. I think that's right. Stop me if I go wrong. And she was observing the functioning of her own mind and just being present. And she observed, she said, this dynamic within her family group shifted and changed. And they didn't do it. And she didn't even have to say. I love that story. So this really is Sutra 2, this really is, it says yoga is. That's yoga, right there. So when we say yoga is uniting consciousness in the heart, that's a really great way to experience Nirodha. So simply what we've been doing, coming into the heart space, inviting mental awareness to drop into the heart. And if you like that, you can say, yoga is. Let's do it now. Let's just close your eyes. Your heart space should be very awake at the moment, and it should be quite easy to connect again. If you want to put your hand there, please do. And get comfortable, because we are going to go from this into samyama. So connecting with the heart space. Feeling the breath of the heart, the response of the sacred heart to your focus selector going there. Feeling the breath expanding the heart with each inhalation. With each exhalation, it's completely easy and comfortable with everything as it is. Expands more and more, and staying centered in that heart space, invite, as your beloved guest, invite mental awareness to drop down into the heart. Feeling consciousness united in the heart, and repeating gently in that space, silently, yoga is consciousness united in the heart. Experiencing that inner stillness. Getting to know it very well. Experiencing it fully. And staying centered in that flow of infinite space. I want you to touch very gently the fuzziest, subtle feeling of pure love. Very fuzzy and subtle. And then drop back into silence. Observe the stillness re-establishing itself. Observe the ripples disappearing. Stillness is there. And once again, very gently touching that subtle, fuzzy feeling of pure love. And then dropping back into stillness. Observing the effect of that subtle touch of concept. Stillness re-establishing itself. Allow the concept of radiance gently touching the concept of radiance, light. And letting go of the concept, dropping back into stillness. Observing the effect. Once more, touching the concept of radiance. And dropping back into stillness. Resting in stillness. Constant, steady state. The eternal, changeless one. And you can touch those words gently now. Eternal, changeless one. And now, there's nowhere else to go. There's no dropping in or out. Absolute consciousness. Allow yourself to remain in that state and gently open your eyes. So if you're not used to meditating, this can be quite tricky. If you are used to meditating, it's quite delicious. And it also gives you a wonderful insight into how consciousness functions. Did you notice? So when you were in stillness and you touched the most subtle concept of pure love, how was that? And then you dropped back into stillness. How was that? Is it too long ago? What happened when you dropped back into stillness?
It goes deeper.
Went deeper?
Most if.
What happened to the stillness? Anything?
Disappeared.
Huh?
It disappeared.
Stillness disappeared. Mm. You like love too much. Maybe. So we all like love, and we all know that the whole universe is love, made from love, by love, for love. That's not the point of this. That's why we did radiance as well. Well, we quite like that, but probably not as much as love. Is that right? Or you love it more?
When you say touch,
Yes.
the love will touch the radiance.
Yes.
That pulls me out into my mind stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
That's
I
the
thought I'd been wrong
point.
here.
No, you're not doing it wrong. That's the point. And then it's delicious. But when you come back to stillness, it's more delicious. Is it true? Is it a relief?
Yeah.
It's a relief, even from pure love. Beginning to see, huh?
They were just concepts.
They are just concepts. That's what I said. But you saw it.
You in the background.
You saw it. That's wonderful.
My mind
They're
goes back to
concepts.
What's the concept? It's that it pulls me into thinking.
They're concepts. and it pulls us out of that stillness. It pulls us out of our eternal state of being. When we come back into it, we drop back in. Were there some ripples? Stillness takes a little while to settle. Huh? How did Padma know that?
The concept is the word.
No, that's
Is it
why
not,
I
or
said
is it
touching
actually
the
the
fuzziest
feeling?
feeling of pure love, not the word.
No. But the
Yeah.
feeling is, yeah.
It's a concept, and it's. Angie says, dropping back into stillness. That's a relief, even from that we consider to be so desirable, and. If you can begin to grasp how that is working, how subtle was that? How pure was that? And what effect it had? What are we doing the rest of the time? That's pure consciousness we're talking about, was affected by that most subtle, fuzzy feeling of pure love. What are we doing the rest of the time? So to know that we can drop into that stillness, there might be some ripples, depending on what's been going on. But what's really good is to just don't go there. And stay in the stillness, because that's what you all wanted to do. Not even open your eyes. So, what we're going to do now is see if we can walk in the world this way. Totally resting in that inner stillness, the eternal changeless one. We'll do a little walking meditation outside in the sun, okay? And we'll just follow one behind the other so that you don't have to think about where you're going. So you can be more deeply in what's happening. You can be in your scientific yogic experiment. Is that okay? Yes.
I mean, I felt when it came to radiance, it fused with the stillness. It fused with the stillness.
The
Is that
radiance?
possible?
Well, that's good. But really, when we said eternal, changeless one, did you find that wasn't a concept? That's fusing there. More than radiance, I would say. Then you know, going and coming is not possible. Hopefully. Stay. So, did you have a question, Anya?
No.
Let's go. Okay.
Padma, I have a question.
Yes.
So, in your practice, how do you integrate that with your mantra repetition? Because in my practice, I seem to want to go one way or the other. I don't seem to be able to bring the two into one session.
Yeah.
Well, whatever brings you to eternal, changeless one. That's it.
That was neither
You
then.
know. Wasn't a good answer?
That was neither.
No right or wrong.
That was neither. Yeah.
You're right.
But you know that, Brian.
I know that. Yeah.
And that's the place to go. I can still see you.
I am.
That's the place to go. Yeah. Okay. Should we go for a walk? Yeah? So So staying in that. If you feel like you lose it, you can put your hand to your heart. You can say to yourself, yoga is consciousness united in the heart. Or you can simply be in the stillness, saying eternal, changeless one, or just be it. And let's see what happens. Remember your focus selector? That's how the universe is that's the channel it's going to talk back to you. So there might be some communication. So just be open to that. Maybe not, but maybe there will be. We'll need to put our shoes on and we'll go out through that door there, okay?
Certainly.